Hi everyone, it's Marisa Williams, author of Eerily Easy English, and today we're going to go through the parentheses section of that book. Today, parentheses are those slender and curvy. They almost look like little C's, kind of, well, big C's, but they're located above the 9 and the 0 keys on your keyboard. So if you shift 9 and shift 0, you can get parentheses, right? So the information contained in a parenthesis is not considered part of a full sentence. In other words, the information in parentheses you should be able to cover up and the rest of the sentence still makes sense. We've talked about that before. I'm going to show you some examples when we get going. So think of it as added information. Maybe it's useful to know, but it's not something that is necessary. So maybe knowing like a birth date and death year of a person might be nice to know, but it's not absolutely necessary. The rest of the sentence should still make sense. So let's look at an example of that. Countess Elizabeth Bathory D'Acy. Notice in parentheses I've got August 6, 1560 through August 21st, 1614. Again, I should be able to cover that up and the rest of the sentence still makes sense, right? So let's look at it if I covered it up. Countess Elizabeth Bathory D'Acy was a Hungarian noblewoman who appears in the Guinness Book of World Record as the most prolific female serial killer. Kind of crazy, huh? But yes, notice that sentence does still make sense whether I cover it up or not. It's just added information. We don't need to know when she was born and died, but it's kind of nice to know that this is a person that lived quite a while ago, right? 1560? A few centuries ago. All right, so it says parentheses may be used to provide equivalent information. In this first example, we're going to give the equivalent of how her name is in Hungary. So we would call her Elizabeth Bathory. That's how most people know her. But her real name, Hungarian, is Eszed Bathory Erzsébet. Okay, so that's why I have it in parentheses here. Again, I can cover that up and the rest of the sentence still makes sense because we don't need to know the Hungarian equivalent, but it's sometimes nice to know, hey, it's spelled differently than what we would spell it, right? So anyways, she was accused by her servant girl of killing 650 people, which led to her living the last 4 years of her life being held in solitary confinement in a windowless room. Another equivalent, people can be boiled at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. In parentheses, we have 100 degrees Celsius for our European friends who might be like, what the heck is Fahrenheit, right? So that's an equivalent. Notice the exact equivalent goes in. 212 degrees Fahrenheit, in parentheses, that means 100 degrees Celsius. All right, let's turn the page. It says, parentheses may be used to clarify information. Countess Bathory's court official, Jacob Silvassi, claimed to have seen the number of people she killed in one of Bathory's private books. Parenthesis, added information, though Silvassi never mentioned it in his court testimony and the book was never revealed. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's look at the next example. Some insist that Bathory inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula. Parenthesis, though there is no evidence to support this. Kind of interesting history lesson here. All right, next section about it. When information in the parentheses is part of a sentence, the parenthetical element, aka the stuff inside the parentheses, does not get a capital letter at the start of it or its own punctuation. The only exception to this is when a question mark or an exclamation mark is used inside a parenthetical element, like if I was to say, ouch, exclamation point, or huh, question mark, right? However, if a set of parentheses is used after a period, then it should be a full sentence inside the parentheses, getting its own capital letter at the start and a punctuation at the end. So let's see what this looks like. First example. People claim Bathory had vampire-like tendencies. There's a period here, so my parentheses starts after. So notice I have a capital letter starting that off. Famously, people claimed that she bathed in the blood of virgins to keep from growing old. Notice my period is inside of the parentheses here because inside of this parentheses is a standalone sentence, okay? Now in this next one, it's not, so let's see what that looks like. Many colorful tales appeared before her death. Notice this one is inside of the sentence, so it does not get a capital letter. Most considered unreliable. And that period goes outside of the parentheses there because it is part of that sentence. Let's do one more. More than 300 witnesses testified to her horrors, parenthesis, describing horribly mutilated bodies, and girls left for dead, exclamation point inside, because I'm trying to be like, wow, isn't that kind of, ooh. But others feel the claims may have been exaggerated as men did not like to see a woman in power. So in the middle of this sentence, we do have the parenthesis. And notice, because it's in the middle, it does not get a capital letter. But at the end, it is having an exclamation point in there just for emphasis purposes, okay? But notice that parenthesis goes. We still have a comma outside of that, because if we were to cover that up and say more than 300 witnesses testified to her horrors, comma, but. So that's why that parenthesis is outside of that, okay? Next one, use parentheses as delimiters when numbering lists, putting parentheses around each number or showing, or a letter showing each new list number. So people love to make lists wrong, but technically, when you're saying 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, each one of these gets its own set of parentheses. Okay, so whether you're doing it as a list or as a paragraph, either way, each individual ABC or 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 2, whatever, they all get their own. So let's see what this looks like. Reasons that Bathory may indeed be a victim of a patriarchal society include 1. Notice that own set of parentheses. Silvassi did not mention the private book of numbers in court testimony, and said book was never found. 2. Again, own set of parentheses. Bathory's husband, Faranek Nadasti, entrusted his heirs and widow to Thurzo. Forgive me on these are kind of weird names, so if my tongue gets tied, just don't mind me. All right, 3, again, own set of parentheses. She would not give up part of her strategically placed empire to Thurzo. You mean the guy that's supposed to be looking over her? Interesting. 4, again, own set of parentheses. Thurzo declared he caught her red-handed torturing girls, but Bathory was detained and arrested prior to this discovery or the presentation of victims. So that's kind of, odd, huh? 5, Thurzo was the judge in Bathory's case. Isn't that convenient? 6, a trial and execution would have resulted in Bathory's land going to the crown, and Thurzo did not want to lose her land. 7, she was never allowed to defend herself. Isn't that great? 8, her signature on letters from her varies from the signature on her will. Isn't that nice? 9, various European lords owed her money and did not want to pay their debt. Isn't that convenient? 10, she was walled in a room in her castle with only slits for air and food, so she would not have contact with anybody. That just sounds horrible. All right, things Bathory was accused of. Again, all these A, B, C, D, E, Fs gets their own set of parentheses. So she was accused of Satanism, torturing servants, luring local women to her castle to be tortured, bathing in the blood of virgins, mutilating genitals, and being a lesbian, which back then was a big thing. Oh my gosh. All right, and she was also accused of being a vampire. And that's how that whole inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula came about. So, all right, let's look at the next thing about parentheses. They can be used for acronyms, such as the first time an acronym is used, it should be spelled out. It's important to note that it doesn't matter which is in the parentheses first, either it's usually what occurs second. So whether you say MAD, parentheses, women against drunk driving, or if you said mothers against drunk driving, parentheses, MAD. Doesn't matter either way, right? So typically whatever appears second will be put in parentheses. So let's look at that. It says, people believe Bathory was into BDSM, which is bondage, domination, sadism, and masochism. Okay, you can also say people want to believe Bathory was into bondage, domination, sadism, masochism, and then put in parentheses BDSM. So, again, a lot of different rules about parentheses. We will continue on with ellipses in our next video, so join us for that. Thanks again.